I went from 0 to almost 5,000 subscribers in under 4 months on my brand new YouTube channel. 2 videos got over 100,000 views. Some might say it's luck, but I believe it is systems and hard work. But if I'm being honest, I almost quit multiple times. And each time I wanted to quit, it wasn't because I was failing. It was because I was transitioning between levels and no one told me what to expect. There are over 115 million YouTube channels and only 65 million have posted more than one video. When I map their data against my own journey, I realized something. YouTube isn't just one long game. It's a bunch of completely different levels stacked up against each other. And most creators quit because they're using level 1 strategies when they're on level 3, or they hit level 4 and they don't realize that the entire YouTube playbook has changed. So in this video, I'm breaking down all 8 levels of YouTube growth, where you rank compared to everyone else, the real game that you're playing at each stage, and the one mistake that kills most channels before they ever start to see any traction or breakthrough. Let's get to the video. So the first level is level 1, the ghost phase, and this is from 0 to about 50 subscribers. You don't show up in the data yet. You're basically invisible. Now, if you post your first video, you're already in the top 50% or so of most YouTube channels. When I published my first video in July of 2025, I got about 20 views. And then the next video got 20, and the next one got about 20 as well. I have no idea who those 20 people were. Honestly, it was probably the algorithm just testing to see if anyone cared about my content. And spoiler alert, seems like they didn't really. At this level, you're not really playing the YouTube game at all. You're kind of in the figuring out if I even know what I'm doing phase. And most people quit here because they feel like they need to have everything figured out. Remember, barely half of all YouTube channels in existence actually post one video. They feel like they need to have the perfect niche, the perfect format, the perfect equipment. But here's the truth. You won't know what your channel even is until you've posted anywhere from 5 to 10 videos. And from there, figured out how people are responding to your content. The real trap at this level is perfectionism. Let's be honest, you're probably stalling because you're afraid your first video isn't going to be good enough. And let me save you some time. It definitely won't be. Mine wasn't, and nobody's is. But you can't learn how to make better videos until you have some bad ones first. So here's what you actually need to do. You need to pick a topic. You need to film a video on your phone. You need to upload it. And then you need to do it again and again and again. That's it. Don't wait. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Don't wait until you feel ready because you never will be. Just start. Now you need to make sure that there is some common thread in your videos. It can be a person like yourself, a place, a topic, or a subject that you enjoy. But past that, you just need to post a few videos first to get some real solid data. Now, eventually, this is where we get to level 2, the pattern recognition phase, 50 to about 100 subscribers, which means 60 to 65% of all channels on YouTube never even make it to this threshold. And I get why, because you're putting in tons of effort for not a lot of return. You're putting in 10 hours of editing to get 50 views. Believe me, I understand. But here's what's actually happening. With every video that you post, you're learning more and more about the language of your niche. You're figuring out what people in your audience actually care about, what titles get clicks, what hooks keep your specific audience watching, and what pacing feels right. When I hit about 50 subscribers or so on my healthcare channel, I noticed something very interesting. My videos on knee pain and sciatica were getting way more traction than just general exercise videos. And this was the key signal, but I just needed to pay attention to it. And so here's the trap at this level. You start to ignore the data because it doesn't match up with what you really want to make. Maybe you started a channel about fitness, hiking, and cars. And these 3 topics, your audience really only cares about one of them. But here's the trap. If you keep forcing content that the audience doesn't want, you'll never actually make any progress. So here's what you actually need to do. Look at your last 5 to 10 videos. Which videos got the most watch time? Which videos had the best click-through rate? Which ones got the most comments? And which ones brought in the most subscribers? From there, whatever those videos are, double down on the hooks, the titles, and the thumbnails. Unfortunately, you should cut the rest. And this takes us to level 3, the identity crisis phase. This is where you're at about 100 to 500 subscribers. At 500 subscribers, you're in about the top 30 to 35% of all channels. And this is where things get weird because you're not invisible anymore, but you're not big enough yet to feel like you've made it. Basically, you're in no man's land. You see someone else in your niche with 20,000 subscribers and you think, why don't I have that? Why am I not there yet? Confession, I did this constantly. I would look at other healthcare creators and I would think, how did they get so many views on their videos? These aren't even good. And it's this comparison spiral that will kill your momentum faster than anything else. And so the trap at this level is trying to be someone else that you aren't. Instead, you need to lean into what makes you different. You'll see what's working for other creators and other audiences, and you'll try to copy it. But unfortunately, what works for them almost always doesn't work for your audience. So here's what you actually need to do. You need to go deeper, way deeper. The bigger channels can afford to be broad because they have momentum. They get bigger reach with every video that they post. But you don't. So you need to dominate a specific part of your niche that no one else is addressing. For me, that meant focusing on people in my audience who had knee and sciatica pain who were over 40 years old. This is super narrow and super specific, but it is what was bringing people to my channel and getting me subscribers. And it's that specificity that gave me the ultimate breakthrough. The other thing that saved me at this stage, finding other creators who are at my level. Not people with 100,000 subscribers who were way ahead of me, but people with 300 to 500 subscribers that were grinding away just like I was. We'd share wins, we'd vent about our frustrations, and we'd hold each other accountable to posting. And honestly, that network is the only reason I didn't quit. If you don't have that yet, you need it. Come join my school community. Inside, we're a group of creators over 30 who are serious about growing their channels from scratch. The link is in the description. And so this is where we get to level 4, the monetization mirage. This is anywhere from 500 to 1,000 subscribers. At 1,000 subscribers, you're in the top third of all YouTube channels. In other words, you're ahead of 2/3 of all YouTube channels. And this is the level that destroys most people. Because you've finally been grinding towards monetization for months, maybe even a year. You finally hit that 1,000 subscriber threshold, you finally get 4,000 watch hours, and you finally get that coveted email that invites you into the YouTube Partner Program. And then you make $20 your first month. Well, thankfully in my case, it was about $65. But still, for all that effort, that's like less than 1 cent per hour of work that you've put in, maybe even less. And the moment that realization hits you, you might start to lose steam. You start thinking, I put in all this work for this. And then the danger here is that you start to post less, you lose your momentum. And for a lot of creators, ironically, after putting in all that work, they actually just stop. And I've seen it happen. Dozens of creators just quit right about this threshold. So the trap at this level that you need to avoid is thinking that hitting the YouTube Partner Program is the ultimate goal. It's not. AdSense is your proof of concept. It's proof that your content is valuable, but the real money and the real business isn't in YouTube AdSense. It's the business that you can potentially build off platform. So here's what you actually need to do at this stage. Stop chasing AdSense payouts. Start asking yourself, what problem can I solve for my audience that they would find valuable? For me, that was helping get people out of pain. And for this channel, it's YouTube growth. For you, it might be a course, a PDF guide, or even a physical product. But whatever it is, you need to start building and thinking about this now. Because if you wait until you hit 10,000 or even 50,000 subscribers, you may have left months and years of income on the table. And if you're stuck figuring out what you could potentially offer and monetize off platform, that's what we talk about in my community and even with my one-on-one coaching. Link is in the description. And so this brings us to level 5, the burnout valley. This is anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 subscribers. At 5,000 subscribers, you are in the top 8% of all YouTube channels worldwide. That's right about where I am right now. And let me tell you, this level is brutal in a totally different way. Because you've proven your channel works. You're getting consistent views. You're making some money and people are asking and reaching out to work with you. But you're also exhausted. You're scripting, filming, editing, responding to comments, analyzing metrics, managing clients, building products. And if you're not careful, you'll burn out before you ever hit 10,000 subscribers. And this is where I hit a wall around 3,500 subscribers. I was working 20 hours per week on top of running my clinic, and I realized something had to change. And so the trap at this level is thinking that you have to do it all, that the channel will fall apart without your expertise. And that's ego talking, and ego will kill your channel faster than anything else. So here's what you need to do at this level. You need to outsource anything that isn't your zone of genius. Outsource anything that isn't your highest leverage activity. For me, that was hiring a part-time editor. It meant batching my filming so that I wasn't setting up my camera and taking down my equipment every single day. It meant building templates and systems so that I wasn't starting from scratch every single week. Your time is very valuable. And if you're spending it on doing things that aren't in your area of expertise, you're basically wasting it. Figure out what only you can do and then delegate the rest. And this brings us to level 6, the credibility shift. This is where you are at 5,000 to 10,000 subscribers. Once you hit 10,000 subscribers, you are in the top 6 to 4% of all YouTube channels. And this is where something interesting happens. People start to treat you differently. I've gotten a taste of this even at 5,000 subscribers. Brands reach out with sponsorship offers. Other creators want to collaborate. Your audience starts trusting your recommendations without questioning them. Basically, you've crossed the authority threshold. But here's the catch. With that authority and credibility comes a ton of pressure. Because now when you recommend something, people actually buy it. When you say something works, people believe you. And when you make a mistake, people call you out. And if you're not careful, that's when the pressure will start to make you second guess every action you take. So the trap at this level is playing it safe because you're worried about what other people might think. You stop watering down your opinions, you stop taking risks, and you wonder if people are judging you. Ironically, these are the same things that you struggled with probably at the very first video that you posted. So here's what you actually need to do at this stage. You need to stop wondering what people think about you, and you need to remember that they are following you because you have a unique point of view. Don't lose that just because the stakes feel higher. You need to stay opinionated and you need to stay authentic. And remember that the reason people are following you is because they care about what you have to say. And so we get to level 7, the ecosystem stage. This is where you have 10,000 to 100,000 subscribers. And at 100,000 subscribers, you're in the top 1% of all YouTube channels. Now, obviously, I'm not here yet, either on this channel or on my other channel. So everything I talk about from here is based off of what I've gathered from researching and looking at other people's channels. But from what I've seen, this is where YouTube stops becoming a hobby or a part-time job and starts becoming a complete media company. You're not just making videos anymore. You likely have a team, you have multiple revenue streams, and hopefully you have systems that run whether you show up or not. And the challenge that is at this level isn't just growth, it's sustainability. How do you keep showing up after 3 or 4 years of doing this? How do you keep from resenting the thing that brought you here in the first place? The trap that many suffer from at this level is losing the joy that brought you this channel in the first place because now it's turned into a job. You started this because you loved it, but now it's deadlines and obligations and huge expectations. So here's what you actually need to do. If I'm being honest, I can't say for sure. But what I have seen and some patterns that I've observed is that you need to build a team that is supportive of you, the creator. And so this brings us to level 8, the legacy game. You now have 100,000 plus subscribers. And if you get 1 million subscribers, you're in the top 0.1% of all YouTube channels. You are the elite. I have no idea what that's like. But I can imagine the game isn't about any sort of growth anymore at that level. It's about impact. What do you want people to remember about your work? What do you want people to remember you for? What legacy are you building? Because at that point, hopefully, you've probably already won. It's about what you do with the winnings that matters. And so here's the real secret. The milestones don't really matter all that much. Hitting 1,000 subscribers feels great for about 2 days. Then you're back to wondering what's next. Getting monetized is exciting until you realize it barely pays for the microphone in front of you. And I know that crossing 100,000 subscribers or a revenue goal off platform will be amazing, but it won't be the thing that fulfills me. The only thing that actually will sustain me throughout all of the journey is remembering that I need to care about the people that I'm serving. I started my healthcare channel because I wanted to get people out of pain. And every time someone comments saying that they've been suffering for years with their issue and finally they found some relief, that makes it all worth it. The subscriber count is just a side effect. So whatever level you're at right now, focus on getting better, focus on the work, and focus on serving your audience. The rest will follow. And if you're just getting started and you need a clear roadmap to publishing your first video in as little as 7 days, I have a free PDF checklist that guides you through that. The link is in the description. And if you're stuck on your growth journey and you need help and want to be in a community with fellow creators who are growing their channels, come join my school community. The link is in the description for that too. And of course, if you want one-to-one help, I'd love for you to book a call and see if we'd be a good fit to work together. All right, I hope that was helpful, and we will see you in the next video. If you want to see a behind the scenes of how I got to my monetization journey, click here to see that video. All right, hope you have a great rest of your day and take care.